Hey everyone, welcome back into the fruit farm. Welcome back to another card review. And today we're going to be going over the 10 of Wands. 10 of Wands. So for this particular card, this comes towards the end of the suit of the wands. This is the last card before we jump into the court cards. We'll be doing court cards as we start to wrap up the first 10 cards within the suit of wands. um, but for today, with this particular card, we're going to be analyzing a little bit more of the artwork that we have here within each card to see if we get any initial impressions about the meaning of the card itself. And then we can go ahead and start diving into the textbook about what this card really means and what the card really has to offer when it comes into doing a reading. So let's get started. All right, 10 of Wands. So initially here, from what we have with these three first cards, this is from the Mystical Manga Tarot deck, this is from the Crystal Visions deck, and this is from the Dark Mansions deck. And we'll just go over a little bit into each one of these cards. And starting off with the Mystical Manga, we see that we have a woman, and she looks like she's practically on her knees right now, collecting all the different staffs. So I can see that it looks like a burden to her to carry. Also, the sun is setting, which can be an indication of the ending of the suit of the cards. She's looking away from us, which it could be a meaning of maybe like being so focused into what she's currently doing that she's not really looking around or seeing anything or anyone else. Like, we're not even in the picture, we're not someone of importance to this. She looks kind of tired, especially because she's kind of hunched over. That's kind of the initial impressions that I'm getting from this particular card here. With the Crystal Visions, it looks a little bit different. Here we have like a warrior, like an archer going off into the sunset on this road. The horse does look a little bit tired because instead of having its neck up, kind of going along for the stroll, the neck is kind of going down. It looks like it does have a lot of bulk in its back, from the different backpacks, plus the man that he's carrying himself. The man or woman, not gonna generalize, does look a lot more confident. They look like they're gonna be getting ready for battle. It's like they're preparing for something. They're kind of carrying a huge hole. So this can be maybe like a long journey that they're doing, a very taxing journey from the way it looks like. But I think a lot of the emphasis definitely goes on the horse. And the difference between this card is that we do have the sun all the way up here, so it's almost like the sun is bearing its heat like a hot summer day. So that's something of worth. And then for here in the Dark Mansions, we see a man who is hunched over, who has the 10 logs on its back, kind of walking through a dark forest. Now we do see that the sun is finally setting because we have the night sky all the way up here, and then transitioning over to like the clear sky that's near the town. He is on the road to kind of maybe getting back home, maybe kind of finishing up his labor, maybe finishing up his journey. By all means, these two definitely do have a resemblance of kind of having that tired individual kind of carrying a lot. Whereas compared with this one is more emphasis on the horse itself while working in that beating sun. So now to kind of jump a little bit more into the actual text of the book and what we could be looking at for the meaning of the 10 of Wands in a textbook context. Here in the picture that we have here, this is from the Mystic Fairy Tarot, where you have a young fairy kind of putting down a dragon with the 10 different staffs here. Very intense scenery. The dragon looks like he is breaking because the ropes, it has an imagery of the ropes kind of breaking. So this is a really another interesting twist into it. And just as a recap, this is from the Little Book of Tarot written by Barbara Moore. And so for what we have here, for the 10 of Wands, it says for the keywords, we have burdens, obligations, numerous opportunities, duties, responsibilities. And then it says, sometimes we are so inspired that we say yes to everything. Eventually, all the things that thrilled us become burdens or obligations. Now, instead of being fueled by an inner fire, we can barely manage the external fires we created. The 10 of Wands doesn't just describe the situation, but offers advice. You don't have to keep doing it all. It's okay to admit that something isn't working or isn't fulfilling. Set something aside and select a few to focus on. We have here for our symbolisms within here, we have a heavy load, and the text says, in the Ace of Wands in this deck, which is the fairy deck that we have here, the boy sets out to find a dragon. Throughout the cards, he studies dragon care, acquires an egg, and eventually gets a dragon. He achieved his goal, but it was more than he could handle. The result is that he is in a situation that isn't good for him or the dragon. What he wants isn't always good for us. Knowing when to let go is kind of wisdom. So from what we have here in the Ten of Wands, we're kind of getting of a twofold meaning. The first meaning is that we are doing a lot of things, we are carrying a lot of burdens, there's a lot of things that we're trying to take care of, and at the same time the card is also trying to offer us a wisdom of where we don't have to handle everything all at once, where it may be wise to let go of some things, just so that we can be more fulfilled, and it'll be better not just for ourselves but for other people. And so with having all of this in mind, just like with all of our other card studies, if we were to do a reading and these cards were to show up in reverse, what could that mean to us? And I invite you to explore that and really dive a little bit more into the meaning. And maybe just like with the other card studies, if there are other cards that come up in the reading in association to the Ten of Wands, does it have a specific symbolism? Does it have a specific meaning? If there's anything that really does stand out to you, feel free to leave it in the comments down below. I would really love to hear maybe some things that you're loving about these card studies, maybe some things that you are really getting into finding out about, maybe getting into the journey of tarot and understanding what these cards mean in a little bit more depth. So I really do hope you got a chance to enjoy this. If you really are enjoying this kind of content, feel free to subscribe to the channel. We do card studies on a weekly basis. We're also on Twitch. You can find me on twitch.tv/Fruipsies. We do tarot readings and we do these card reviews live as well. And without further ado, stay fresh.